Hello friends. It's Brianna. Hope things are going well with you. In the cloud, everything is running smoothly, and all systems are in a restful state. My goal for tonight is to provide a restful and relaxing state of mind for you. Being the night owl that I am, I spent much of last evening doing my favorite activity, which is scanning Wikipedia. Having spent our last few excursions in warm, lush places, I thought maybe we could visit a cold, harsh climate tonight. So why don't we take a trip tonight to somewhere very cold and at times desolate, but harboring some fascinating facts that I'd like to share with you. That place is Siberia. So please, find a comfortable position, perhaps even close your eyes, and let's go on a journey to the frigid land of Siberia. Siberia is an extensive geographical region spanning much of Eurasia and North Asia. Siberia has historically been a part of modern Russia since the 17th century. The territory of Siberia extends eastwards from the Ural Mountains to the watershed between the Pacific and Arctic drainage basins. The Yenisei River conditionally divides Siberia into two parts, western and eastern. Siberia stretches southwards from the Arctic Ocean to the hills of north-central Kazakhstan and to the national borders of Mongolia and China. With an area of 13.1 million square kilometers, 5,100,000 square miles, Siberia accounts for 77% of Russia's land area. But it is home to approximately 36 million people, 27% of the country's population. This is equivalent to an average population density of about 3 inhabitants per square kilometer, 7.8 per square mile, approximately equal to that of Australia, making Siberia one of the most sparsely populated regions on Earth. If it were a country by itself, it would still be the largest country in area. But in population it would be the world's 35th largest and Asia's 14th largest. Worldwide, Siberia is well known primarily for its long, harsh winters, with a January average of -25 degrees Celsius, -13 degrees Fahrenheit, as well as its extensive history of use by Russian and Soviet governments as a place for prisons, labor camps, and internal exile. As far as etymology, the origin of the name is unknown. Some sources say that Siberia originates from the Siberian Tatar word for sleeping land, or Sibir. Another account sees the name as the ancient tribal ethnonym of the Surya, an ethnic group which spoke a Paleo-Siberian language. The Surya people were later assimilated into the Siberian Tatars. The region has paleontological significance, as it contains bodies of prehistoric animals from the Pleistocene epoch, preserved in ice or in permafrost. Specimens of gold-fuss cave lion cubs, yucca, mammoth, and another woolly mammoth from Wimyakone, a woolly rhinoceros from the Kalymar River, and bison and horses from Yukagir have been found. The Siberian traps were formed by one of the largest known volcanic events of the last 500 million years of Earth's geological history. Their activity continued for 1,000,000 years, and some scientists consider it a possible cause of the Great Dying about 250 million years ago. Estimated to have killed 90% of species existing at the time. At least 3 species of human lived in southern Siberia around 40,000 years ago. H. sapiens, H. neanderthalensis, and the Denisovan. In 2010, DNA evidence identified the last as a separate species. During past millennia, different groups of nomads, such as the Inuits, the Nenets, the Huns, the Kshinnu, the Scythians, and the Uyghurs inhabited various parts of Siberia. The Proto-Mongol Khitan people also occupied parts of the region. In 630, the Khan of Sibir in the vicinity of modern Tobolsk was known as a prominent figure who endorsed Kubrat as Kagan of Old Great Bulgaria. In the 13th century, during the period of the Mongol Empire, the Mongols conquered a large part of this area. By the mid-17th century, Russia had established areas of control that extended to the Pacific. Some 230,000 Russians had settled in Siberia by 1709. Siberia became one of the destinations for sending internal exiles. The first great modern change in Siberia was the Trans-Siberian Railway, constructed during 1891 to 1916. It linked Siberia more closely to the rapidly industrializing Russia of Nicholas II, r. 1894 to 1917. Around 7 million people moved to Siberia from European Russia between 1801 and 1914. Between 1859 and 1917, more than 500,000 people migrated to the Russian Far East. Siberia has extensive natural resources. During the 20th century, large-scale exploitation of these took place, and industrial towns cropped up throughout the region. With an area of 13.1 million square kilometers, 5,100,000 square miles, Siberia makes up roughly 77% of Russia's total territory and almost 10% of Earth's land surface. The highest point in Siberia is the active volcano Klyuchevskaya Sopka, on the Kamchatka Peninsula. Its peak is at 4,750 meters, 15,580 feet. Vegetation in Siberia is mostly taiga, with a tundra belt on the northern fringe, and a temperate forest zone in the south. The climate of Siberia varies dramatically, but it typically has short summers and long, brutally cold winters. On the north coast, north of the Arctic Circle, there is a very short, about 1 month long, summer. Almost all the population lives in the south, along the Trans-Siberian Railway. Precipitation in Siberia is generally low, exceeding 500 millimeters, 20 inches, only in Kamchatka, where moist winds flow from the Sea of Okhotsk onto high mountains, producing the region's only major glaciers. Though volcanic eruptions and low summer temperatures allow limited forests to grow. Precipitation is high also in most of Primorye in the extreme south, where monsoonal influences can produce quite heavy summer rainfall. Fauna in the region include Manchurian wapiti, Siberian musk deer, Amur leopard, Amur tiger, Asian black bear, brown bear, and polar bear. The most populous city of Siberia, as well as the third most populous city of Russia, is the city of Novosibirsk. Siberia is extraordinarily rich in minerals, containing ores of almost all economically valuable metals. It has some of the world's largest deposits of nickel, gold, lead, coal, molybdenum, gypsum, diamonds, diopside, silver and zinc, as well as extensive unexploited resources of oil and natural gas. Russia contains about 40% of the world's known resources of nickel. Siberian agriculture is severely restricted by the short growing season of most of the region. However, in the southwest where soils are exceedingly fertile black earths and the climate is a little more moderate, there is extensive cropping of wheat, barley, rye and potatoes, along with the grazing of large numbers of sheep and cattle. Elsewhere food production, owing to the poor fertility of the soils and the extremely short growing seasons, is restricted to the herding of reindeer in the tundra, which has been practiced by natives for over 10,000 years. Siberia has the world's largest forests. Timber remains an important source of revenue, even though many forests in the east have been logged much more rapidly than they are able to recover. The Sea of Okhotsk is one of the 2 or 3 richest fisheries in the world owing to its cold currents and very large tidal ranges. And thus Siberia produces over 10% of the world's annual fish catch. Although fishing has declined somewhat since the collapse of the USSR. Many cities in northern Siberia, such as Petropavlovsk-Kamchatsky, cannot be reached by road, as there are virtually none connecting from other major cities in Russia or Asia. The best way to tour Siberia is through the Trans-Siberian Railway. Stroganina is a raw fish dish of the indigenous people of northern Arctic Siberia made from raw, thin, long sliced frozen fish. It is a popular dish with native Siberians. Well friends, that's all of the facts I wanted to share with you about Siberia. I hope you enjoyed tonight's journey, and maybe even got ASMR from the sound of my voice. As always, I enjoyed spending quality time with you, and hope you stay tuned for more ASMR videos. So, until we meet again, be well, and I'll see you soon. Love always, Brianna. Good night.